back again with another video. Hope you're doing well. Hope your life's going well. Hope this week has gone well for you. And I hope that today has gone well for you. Today is March 17th, 2024. It is about 2:23 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I hope y'all are doing good. I hope that just Sunday is going good for you. My Sunday is going good, and for me, I don't really have much to do, so I pretty much just have time to sit around, think about different things, think about different video ideas. And one video idea popped up in my head just now, and I want to talk about Generation Z, my generation. I'm beginning Generation Z. I'm 25 years old. I hear a lot of older people from the boomer generation, some people from the Gen X generation. You know, they say that Generation Z complains too much. We complain about every little thing, we're entitled, etc. And I kind of want to address that because Generation Z, I think, has a pretty valid complaint, right? I think we can complain about the fact that we work hard, we do everything we're told we're supposed to do. We go to college, we do this, that, and the other. And the fact is, we have worked just as hard. Well, not everybody, but we have a lot of people in this generation, older Gen Zers that, basically people in their mid-20s that have worked hard, just as hard as previous generations. But we have pretty much realized that, the thing is, we have pretty much realized that we're not going to get the same things, the same rewards that previous generations have gotten. So, for most Gen Zers, buying a house is out of reach. And if they are able to save up enough to buy a house, it's going to be well later on in life versus previous generations that were able to buy houses in their mid to late 20s. You have to remember, previous generations, they bought houses in their 20s because houses were affordable. Remember, there was a time when houses were the average house was only about 2 times the average income. Nowadays, it's 4 times the average income, 5 times the average income in certain areas. Even in a so-called lower cost of living state such as Texas, compared the average housing costs, the average house costs about 4 times the average salary. And we have to just remember that it wasn't always like that. There was a time when buying a house was in reach. I mean, think about it. 10 years ago, buying a house was still pretty well within reach for the average, person, that was able to save money. But nowadays, they just want to make everything so expensive. And it hurts Gen Zers the most, obviously, because we're the ones that are just coming into the workforce. We're just now getting our full-time jobs. We're pretty much going into a world of inflated prices. Rent is sky high. Food is sky high. Insurance is sky high. Bills in general are just sky high. And remember, a lot of Gen Zers, we don't have the crazy amount of savings that, say, like older people in their 30s and 40s have. We don't have a lot of those savings. We don't have that savings cushion that a lot of the older people have, 40s, 50s. We don't have that, and a lot of Gen Zers just say, hey, we realize what it is, and this is a problem. Just the fact that we're pretty much not getting the same things as the previous generations. And there's a lot of people in my generation that have a huge problem with that. I have a huge problem with that. Do I think it's fair that, previous generations of people that were in their 20s were easily able to buy houses, but this generation of 20 somethings, it's almost impossible? No, that's not fair. And I think that's why a lot of Gen Zers have valid complaints. I think a lot of the older people that aren't willing to listen to young people and they're quick to criticize and judge us, I think they should, just open their ears to really listen to the problems that we have and then compare it to life back in the day when they were in their 20s. How easy was it to buy a house back when they were in their 20s? How easy was it to go out and buy a car back when they were in their 20s? I think, what is it nowadays? Like, there's only like 5 brand new cars that are selling for like under $25,000. Ain't that crazy? A new car is pretty much out of reach for the average person. Um, I think the only people that are buying new cars are like older, more established people who are more established financially. Those are people that are buying the new cars. It's not young people buying the new cars like that. And so that's something that we have to realize. And, you know, you look at how insurance has gone up. You know, my insurance went up almost 50%. Didn't have any incidents, didn't have any tickets, but it still goes up. Inflation, and even for people that are buying a home, you pretty much have to buy, you know, mortgage insurance if you're unable to put 20% down. You have to factor in homeowners insurance, which can be really expensive depending on where you live. You have to factor in property taxes, where, depending on where you live, property taxes can be expensive. If you want to live in a nice area, the suburbs, you're going to be paying crazy high property taxes. And they go up and up and up, and it's crazy, you know. And they don't stop after you pay the home off either. That's the funny thing. They don't stop after you pay the home off. You're going to keep on paying them property taxes. It's something to think about. Why is it even like that in the first place? Like, shouldn't you not have to pay property taxes after you already paid the home off in full? Something to think about, right? It is something to think about. But yeah, it's just crazy, I don't know. I just kind of think about life and, where we're at, not only financially, but, you know, it's number two, also thinking about just all this technology and how it's pretty much made us different. We're not as social as we used to be. And a lot of Gen Zers are like trying to get off of social media for good. I see a lot of like YouTube videos of people that have said like, hey, I've pretty much like quit social media. And, they have good reason to do that, because social media for the most part is pretty toxic. And there's a lot of Gen Zers out there that realize how toxic social media is. And they have pretty much decided that they don't really want any parts of social media. They want to pretty much, live life, unplugged from this, I guess you could say, matrix of social media and, constant, constantly scrolling through different, So yes, Gen Z, we do complain a lot. I think our complaints are extremely valid, though. if you listen to what we're actually complaining about, they're valid reasons. They're valid, you know, but how expensive everything has gotten. Yeah, we're going to complain. We're going to complain. Mm-hmm. You know, in the older generation, they're going to say that, oh, y'all are just lazy and entitled and want less. Y'all don't want to work hard. And I think also, too, with that saying about working hard is, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. Simple fact is, you get less for doing the same amount of work. You pretty much, in a lot of jobs, if you're the hard worker, you're the fast worker, all they're going to do is give you more work. So a lot of Gen Zers say, well, what's the point of working hard when you're not going to actually be appreciated for it, but they're just going to give you more work? That's how a lot of these jobs are. You got to remember, it's all about profit for the big corporation. If they see that there's somebody that actually works hard, there's somebody that actually cares about the quality of work they do, they're able to be very efficient, you know, that's somebody that they really like. But then at the same time, there's some companies that are just going to pile on all the work onto them, and think about it. Is that fair to them? I don't, I don't think it is, but that's what they do. Gen Z is pretty much woken up to that. Millennials too, but especially Gen Z. Um, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how financially it's hard to make it. It's hard to make it. In certain places, well, in a lot of places now, it's hard to make it. And that's why a lot of Gen Zers say, hey, they're just gonna live life and not care about money. And it's funny too. I've seen comments online where if somebody says, you know what, I don't care about money, I just care about experiences and being happy, you're gonna have some person, more than likely like an older person, come in and be like, oh well, you sound like the typical like broke person. Maybe they're just speaking for other Gen Zers and other millennials. That's crazy. I don't know. I saw that online. I was like, okay, that's crazy. But yeah, it's ridiculous how bad it's truly gotten. It's ridiculous how bad it's gotten. I think that you know a lot of young people just don't care. Got a lot of young people that don't even want to work at all. Now, I can understand somebody saying, okay, you're lazy for not wanting to work at all. But at the same time, it's like these jobs hardly pay anything. And so, I mean, part of me is like, well, jobs don't pay nothing anyway. So, you know, I don't know. I wonder where we're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. I hope it's not anything worse than what we're dealing with now. So what we're dealing with now is pretty bad. But it can always get worse. I'm optimistic though. I hope it gets better. I think it'll get better, but if it gets worse, I wouldn't be surprised. But, that's why I was saying, Gen Z, we have the most valid complaint of it all. I mean, we have the most valid complaint out of any type of complaint that, you know, other generations may have. with the exception of, say, a millennial. We do the same amount of work. We worked hard, went to school and everything, got degrees. The jobs don't pay anything, and the rent is too expensive, and houses are out of reach for a lot of young folks. Starter homes are being bought up by corporations, you know, some of them being turned into Airbnbs, which are basically hotels. Airbnb has really messed up the housing market in a lot of cities. All corporate greed, all about the profit. They're willing to screw you over in order to keep making profits. And that's just the name of the game. They're willing to screw you over in order to make profits. Buying up all the houses. Didn't they say like 19,000 homes in Atlanta were owned by like 3 corporations? It was something to that effect. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. This is something that's never been seen in previous generations. Do you keep that in mind? You got to keep that in mind. This is something we've never seen in previous generations, where corporations are just buying up homes in mass and turning them into rentals. That's the problem we're facing as Gen Zers who are trying to get into the housing market that previous generations didn't have to face. And so the complaint is valid. Man, that's crazy. 3 corporations own thousands of homes, and it's all over the country in these big cities. These corporations, they buying up these homes fast, you know, turning them into rentals because they want to make you a lifelong renter. They don't want you to own anything. They look at you owning something that's crazy, but they want to own everything. You see what I mean? They don't make no sense at all. But that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope y'all are enjoying your Sunday. I hope y'all are able to do something that makes you happy. Do something that makes you relaxed. Enjoy a hobby. Go out and live life. Or be productive. Work on something that you have going for you. Have a good rest of the weekend, everybody. I'll probably upload something tomorrow evening, Monday evening, after work. Not 100% sure yet, but with that, thanks for watching.